Hey everybody, I have a hood on and I'm going into my closet to share my funny Halloween story on October 31st of 2018. So, we're in my closet now and we are going to share. You can barely see my face. So, sorry for the cringy intro, by the way. So it was Halloween, October 31st, 2018. Me, my brother Evan, and Evan's friend Bobby, we were all going trick-or-treating around my neighborhood. And that Halloween, I kind of wanted to scare some kids, So I was planning on not trick-or-treating. Last second, I decided to go. And we went trick-or-treating. Evan and Bobby went trick-or-treating, and I came in late. So they were already halfway around the neighborhood. I went the other side, and we met up, right? So then, we went to one of the houses near us, and we trick-or-treated there. And then we see a group of kids walking, and it was pitch black, so I couldn't see anything. So then, I ran into this kid. I know he was in 8th grade now, and he said, "Watch where you're going," and then I think he said a swear. I'm not sure. I don't really remember. So that kind of got me mad. So while Evan and Bobby met with some other friends to trick-or-treat, going along the other side, I decided to follow these kids and probably, just see what they were doing. So then I went into this cul-de-sac in my neighborhood. We went trick-or-treat, or I followed the kids. They thought I was one of their friends in their grade, but they thought that for a while. And then we went to a house across from my neighbor's house. This was diagonal of my house. And you know what happened? So I wanted to hit one of the kids with my bag of candy as a joke and then run away. So we were all getting candy from the one stop, and the last kid behind it, all of his friends, I decided to hit with my candy bag. I hit him, and I bolt out of there, going the direction where Evan, Bobby, and some of Evan's other friends went trick-or-treating. So I hit the kid with the candy bag, and then I ran the opposite direction. They weren't chasing after me. And then I finally caught up to Evan, Bobby, and his friends halfway around the neighborhood, and I told them all about it, and they were like, "Oh, wow, okay." So they were, really surprised that I decided to follow them. So then they were going the opposite direction of us. So then we eventually met up in the second cul-de-sac in my neighborhood. There were 2 cul-de-sacs. And then one of the kids recognized me, and I think it was the kid I hit. And I knew, and now I saw their faces, and I knew they were 8th graders. And I'm in 9th grade, if you didn't know. So, one of them I was, right behind them to see if they said anything, and one of them was like, "Why'd you hit me?" And then, as a group, they all start walking, pretty much simultaneously in a line at me, while Evan and Bobby and his friends are just going to get candy from that house. So then, I was scared shitless, because there were 8 of them versus me, so I knew I had to outrun them. So I bolted, full on sprinted out of there, and they all chased after me. And then Evan, Bobby, and his friends were back there screaming, "Go, Zach, run, they're right behind you." So I kept running, right? And I had a black costume on. So then when I got a little further, I dove into the bushes in a random person's house. And there were people trick-or-treating at that house. And I went into the front yard, and I was, very tired. And I was breathing heavily. And I said, "Help, help." And they completely ignored me. And I don't know why to this day. So then I hid in their bushes again. And, basically, I waited for them to go by, and they never did. But then I saw Evan, Bobby, and his friends come my way, and then I came out and said, and showed myself to them, knowing it was me, and they were like, "Oh, wow." They were, right behind you. So then they come back towards us, walking. They forget all about it. And then I yell, "Come get me, bitches!" Just as a joke. And then they all start sprinting at me. I have a good 100-yard head start, though, on those kids. I had a really good amount of start. But there was one kid and he was super fast, and he almost ended up catching up to me, but I kept running the same way towards my house, because I knew I had to go into my house without them seeing me, so that way they didn't know where I lived. So I had to cut through a house that went right to my, backyard. Who is that? Who is that? Evan! You suck, I'm doing a video.
What is it?
You'll see. Jesus, I don't even remember where I was. Oh my god, Evan. So then, I cut through somebody's house that led straight to my backyard, and I went inside. They were still on the other side of the neighborhood, and the house I cut through, they thought I lived there, which I found out later by Evan and his friends. So then that was basically the Halloween story. And then when I had some confidence, I decided to go back outside and see if they were still there. We searched around the whole block, and then we ended up hiding. And we were along the woods of one of Evan's friends' neighborhood. Our two neighborhoods connect by a pathway. I was in that pathway looking for the kids for half an hour. They weren't there. But then all of a sudden, I see a group of kids coming towards the pathway. So I duck into the bushes of that pathway, and they walk by. And then one of them noticed me, and then I said, oh shit. And then I found out it was one of Evan's friend's brothers. So I was relieved. And he was like, what happened? And I said, well, a bunch of kids in your grade just kept chasing me after hitting one of them with a candy bag as a joke. And he was shocked, and I was so glad that those kids were not the kids that chased after me, because they would have beat me. It was literally 8v1, and one of those kids almost caught up to me twice, but luckily I had enough speed, and I was exhausted. So, that is my Halloween story. That is funny. And, basically, I hope next Halloween's better. I hope those kids come back, and maybe I'll hit more than one of them with a candy bag. And thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next video.